handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Kentucky Downs here on Saturday. It is the 31st of August 2024. Gonna look at stakes action from Kentucky Downs, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it, around the world. Let's look at the stakes action here in Kentucky Downs, day 2 of the meeting, races 8, 9, and 10. The featured 8th race from Kentucky Downs, it's the big one of the week. It is the Nashville Derby Invitational. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse of $3.1 million. That's right, worth more money than the Kentucky Derby. Or no, the Kentucky Derby was $5 million this year, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember, but it's worth a lot of money here. We have a field here of invitational horses. Let's see how many horses, quite a bit. Field of 14 horses entered, but only 12 could go 2,100 meters, or a mile 5/16 on the turf course, just over a mile and a quarter here in the Nashville Derby. I'm going to take the 6-horse Bellum Justum as a top selection. 6854 for me in the superfecta. 6854 super top selection. 6-horse Bellum Justum. This 3-year-old colt by See the Stars. Andrew Balding trains. Frankie Dettori gets the mount. The horse's most recent appearance came at Goodwood, a mile and a half on the 1st of August in the Group 3 Gordon Stakes, and the horse finished second by a neck. You know, he sat back early after not the best beginnings. He closed up well. The winner just had the jump on him, but he got around the race course well. Coming here, a completely different kind of course. It's even quirkier than Goodwood, which can be very quirky at times. You're going up and down hills. It's very, you know, if I could rate this to a course in the UK, it's kind of like Doncaster a little bit, or Newcastle, but more like Doncaster, where this horse got around decently as a 2-year-old last year. But you know, coming here today off some decent runs in the UK, I'm gonna give this horse shot on the ticket. You know, 2 back at Ascot in the Group 3 Hampton Court. He finished 3rd by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. He just couldn't quicken up late, but he got around the race course decently. It was an improvement off the race before, which was the Derby at Epsom over the mile and a half, where he finished 7th by 13 1/4 lengths. He didn't break, which probably caused him. He just couldn't quicken up late. It wasn't his day to win, but he got around Epsom well for the Derby trial back in April, winning by 3/4 length from a tracking trip. He really got the job done on the bit of a quirky course there. Refreshing here, a little lesser quality horses, back to a mile and a quarter off some decent races. He could win. I think the 8-horse here, Carson's Run for Joel Rosario and Christophe, can win also. Was a winner in the Saratoga Derby over the mile 3/16 in the Mellon at the spot quite easily a few weeks ago. Winning by 3/4 length. He was a little bit wide late, but coming from mid-pack, I thought it was a very good strong run. He ran the tail of a cat before that, a Monmouth over the mile 16th in June, where he won by 3 lengths, closing it from the back of the pack. Again, a very, very good race. His form last year wasn't bad at all, breaking the main in Saratoga, decent place in the with anticipation, and then came back 3 weeks to win the summer at Woodbine. His only subpar race was where he just had a very wide trip at Santa Anita, but he's been doing everything right. I think you should like the added ground. Coming here at 9-2, let's use him on the ticket, and even the 5-horse White Palomino. His last few races weren't bad at all. Coming here, I think he's been crying out for more run. Its turf course can play towards front-running speed at times. I'll give him a shot on the ticket, but I do prefer the other 2 here. But we're going to play a pick 3 that picks up all these stakes races we're looking at right now, so we'll use them there. But to recount my selections for the 8th from Kentucky Downs, it is the inaugural Nashville Derby. Gonna take the 6-horse Bellum Justum. Give kudos to the 8-horse Carson's Run and the 5-horse White Palomino. 6854 Super, 685 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 9th race now from Kentucky Downs, which is the Exacta Systems Lady Turf Sprint. It's a grade 2 event going for a purse of $1.5 million here. Race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. And the prize money here at Kentucky Downs is incredible at times. But we have a field of 16 horses entered. Only 12 could go. A distance of ground of 1,300 meters is 6.5 on the turf course. Gonna take the 4-horse Don't Look Back at All. 4-11-1-2 for me in the superfecta. 4-11-1-2 super. Top selection of 4-horse Don't Look Back at All. This 4-year-old filly by Warren Peace and Justice, excuse me. Christophe Clement trains. Joe Alrosari gets him out. Horse's most recent outing came in the Crest at Saratoga, 5.5 on the 25th of July. It was a success for this horse. He won by a neck that day. He sat back early, timed the race beautifully, and she got the job done. A very good gritty performance for her that day. Guess what? She's one of her last 3. She won the Power by Far at Parks over the 5 on the 29th of June, won by 3/4 lengths. She was 20 cents to the dollar, but she got there in the nick of time, gaming it out from the wire. A very good performance, but at 20 cents to the dollar, she won by more. And then the license fee at Aqueduct over the 6th in May, she won by a neck that day. Wasn't the quickest 6 furlongs Aqueduct's ever seen, but from a tracking trip, she's done everything right. Since coming to the green stuff, she's really improved a lot. She's training at Belmont on the train track quite nicely at 4-1. 1, I think she could win. I think the 11 horse here, who is Dan's Macroby, one of my favorite horses in training right now for Kesley Danner and Adam Deskitsa, a horse that absolutely loves the Aqueduct Turf course, but can run here at Kentucky Downs, also winning here quite a few seasons ago in the Untappable, but and coming back to a very good place in the Music City here last year. But she's the kind of horse, she's always run these bang up races. She's finished in the money out of all 11 starts. You know, she had a very good place in the Crest a few weeks ago at 6.5 to 1. Very good race last fall in the autumn days at Aqueduct, and a very good win in the Glen Cove at Aqueduct the last fall. You know, won the Memsale last year, won here the Here Comes the Bride over the routing trip, which is probably not to her liking. I think coming back here at 6.5 is her preferred trip. Training well Turfway. 6-1, she's a very cool horse. I think she could win. And even the one horse here, Ruby Nelfer, Dick Mandela, and Edwin Maldonado, if this race was down the Hillside Turf course at Santa Anita, this horse would have all my money I have in the bank right now, which is $5. But you know, she's the kind of horse. You know, I love betting horses that just can't get the routing trip going a mile and the eighth at Santa Anita, and then go cut back to like 6.5 down the Hillside Turf course. I think coming here to 6.5 isn't, you know, it should suit her well. I think she'll see a strong pace to close up into, and I think she can find a trip from where she's drawn. I'll give her a shot 7-2, but I wish this race was down the Hillside Turf course at Santa Anita. But to recap my selection for the ninth from Kentucky Downs, it is the Exacta Systems Ladies Turf Sprints. Can't speak. Gonna take the 4s, don't look back at all. Give kudos to the 11 horse Dan's Macroby and the 1 horse Ruby Nell. 4-11 1-2 Super, 4-11 1 in this pick 3 we're going to play. Let's get to the 10th race now from Kentucky Downs, which is the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. It's a grade 3 event going for a $1.5 million purse. Races for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field here, a field of horses, a field of 14, 13, 14 are both AE, so 12 will go to 1,600 meters or a mile on the turf course. I'm going to take the 10 horse here. Mission of Joy is a top selection. 10-3-8-5 for me in the superfecta. 10-3-8-5 super. Top selection 10 horse Mission of Joy. This 4-year-old followed by Kitten's Joy. Grand Motion trains. John Velazquez, the veteran, gets the mounts. The horse's most recent appearance came in the Diana out of Saratoga, Monmouth on the inner opening weekend, where she finished 6th by 3 lengths that day, and she was just one, and she never really got going. You know, maybe just setting their heights a little bit too high. Coming here to Kentucky Downs, not the world's toughest race. I think she could, you know, run a good race to win. I think she'll see a stronger pace than she did last time out also. They went almost 114 3/4, which is not good for a closer like she is. She had a good pace in the Justa game at Saratoga over the mile on the 7th of June, where she finished 3rd by half a length. She closed up well late. She was a little bit wide. White Bean, who finished 2nd, was the next start winner in the Diana, but this horse, she ran her heart out that day off the bench. And then the Churchill Distaff Turf Mile at Churchill Mile and Derby weekend, she finished 4th by 4 1/4 lengths. She had a very wide poster, which was a thing with her this year to begin off the season. She just never really got going. And then the Pegasus Filly Mare Turf at Gulfstream over the mile 16th, another very wide trip. She just never really got going there. But if you look at her races as a 3-year-old last year, she won the Florida Oaks, won the Regret, and then had a very good 3rd at 10 off the season, the QE2 Cup at Keeneland. Coming here 4-1. I think she could win. Let's choose her on the ticket. And I also think the second likeliest winner here is the 3-horse Fluffy Socks for Joelle and Chad. Was a winner 2-back in the Gallaret at Pimlico on a very soft turf course in May, winning by 7 3/4 lengths. You know, she handled the course getting down there well. Very good easy run. Came back to run the Diana, where she just was way out of it early on, which I think caused her. But you know, had a very good 3rd in the Hillsborough early in the season, and a very good 2nd last year's Matriarch. Coming here back to Kentucky Downs, where she won quite a few seasons ago quite easily. I'm going to give her a shot at 9-2 on the ticket. She could definitely win here. But to recap my selection for the 10th now from Kentucky Downs, it's the Kentucky Downs Ladies Turf. Going to take the 10-horse Mission of Joy. Give kudos to the 3-horse Fluffy Socks here. 10-3. 8-5 Super, 10-3 in the multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everyone.